Hi, I'm Cheryl. Today we're going to be making a card along this line. Not exactly. We're going to be taking a different color pathway on the card we're making today. This one I did kind of in autumn colors with the oranges and the yellows. We're going to go with the blues today. And we're going to make the bokeh dot background. I'm going to go over just quickly how to make a stamp. We're going to make our own stamp out of fun foam, and then we have some sponging. So we need some sponge daubers. Ooh, I'm going to need more than those though. Let me grab a couple more, and they are clean. They just get stained. Just wash them out when you're done with them, using them, and they'll be fine. So we're going to go with Night of Navy for the card base, and that's 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored and folded at 4.25. You need a couple little pieces of Night of Navy and Smokey Slate to cut these pieces from. We have 2 pieces of Whisper White cardstock, and they're 5 by 3.75. And we're using the Special Reasons bundle. We're using the bundle. Well, actually, we're just using the dies from this one. But it comes with all these great dies. Let me show you. It's got a small flower and the border die for that. It's got leaves, it's got stem, and then it also has these that I have out already because we're using those today. It's got these 2 great little banner type things, and all the messages on here on the stamp set will fit inside this little die, except for wishing you a beautiful day. So happy birthday and all these little other ones will fit inside. But we use those to cut these. And and I wanted to show you when I cut out the ones for my autumn color card, I noticed that the pieces that I cut them out from make this cute little thing too. So of course I had to glue that together, and I'm keeping that to use on my autumn card. And if you've watched my videos, you know I leave off sentiments a lot of times and wait until I'm ready to use the card, and then I'll put something that's appropriate in that card. So we're going to be using this Whisper White first, so I'll leave that out. Then we're using this die, and this cuts out, just cuts out all the petal shapes. Okay, so that kind of makes like a window. If you use this on a card front, it makes like a window. But then it also has this die, and this die is what cuts the edge of the flower out. So we'll use both of those to make our stamp. And when you're over at your die cutting machine cutting things out, cut out one more piece out of cardstock of that just that edge die, because we'll use that as a mask on our card when we're stamping. And I just put a couple little dots of Tombow on the back here and let it dry, just so it's I got a little sticky to help hold it in place on the card. Now on my stamp this time, I came across, I had some craft foam that had the adhesive on the back, and I used that, and obviously it works, it sticks onto the block, but it's It's a little stickier than the Tombow, and when I'm moving my stamp around, I tore it in a couple places, which you couldn't tell because you can't tell because I've just butted them up against each other. So if that happens to you, that's perfectly fine to do. And if you should have some little spots where it doesn't quite meet up, if you have a matching marker to the ink you're using, or a blender pen, you could just fill in where it doesn't look so good. So I'm going to be using that too very shortly. But anyway, I think if you just use regular fun foam and cut it out and then put a little bit of Tombow on the back and let it dry, then that will be sufficiently sticky to make your stamp from. I do have another video out where I go through the steps in depth of making the stamp, but I think you get the idea. You just basically cut it out and put a little Tombow on the back and let it dry, and then you can use it just like a regular stamp. Of course, they're not going to hold up as long or as well as a good quality polymer stamp or a rubber stamp, but most likely you'll be tired of using it before it wears out. So it's something worth doing. Okay, and we're using Night of Navy ink, Smoky Slate, Marina Mist, Dapper Denim, and we're using Whisper White, which is a pigment ink. We'll need some snail, and of course a whole host of sponge daubers. So let's get started on making our card. The first thing I did was I stamped the flowers, and I'm going to need the mask. And I stamped the lower one first. We're inking this up with the Night of Navy, and I put that right about in the center of the card. Okay, and same as using a regular stamp, go straight down, straight up, and hold it in place for a little bit and let the ink transfer. And there, we got a pretty nice impression there. Now I'm going to take my mask here, and I'll just place that over the flower I just stamped. Ink this up again. And this one's going to be just tilted a little bit and almost, well, it is pretty much to the top and to the side here. Okay, and then we'll take our mask off. And you see now it looks like this flower is behind the first one we stamped. If we didn't have that mask, it would have just been stamped over top of it. Okay, so we're done with the Night of Navy. And put that away. We're going to go on to our Smoky Slate. And we'll get a sponge dauber out. And we're also going to do some of the bokeh dots on our inside card. So we'll do that at the same time. I'm going to start with the flowers though. You can get some Smoky Slate on there, and we're just going to start in the centers and blend that out, and that will pick up a little bit of that Night of Navy, but that's good. That's a good thing. And we'll do the other flower, blend that out. Okay, and then I'm just going to go with my Smoky Slate. I always like to work the ink in my sponge. This is a silicone mat I have here. So everything wipes off of this. I haven't had anything stick to this mat. And we're just doing it very, very lightly with this smoky slate in the background. Ever so lightly, just to give it a little bit of color. And we'll be doing our bokeh dots on this. And just everywhere on that card front, outside the card. Some areas be a little lighter, some areas will be a little darker. It just adds to it. Okay, so that's it so far. And I'll do the same on the inside of the card, except I'm just going to keep to the top and to the bottom here. So we'll just bring in a little of that smoky slate. And if you're not real good at using these blenders, then this is the perfect card for you, because if you leave little dots, that's alright, because it's just going to work right in with our bokeh dots. Okay, so we'll put that aside for the moment. Okay, now we're going to start with our Marina mist. That was my, let's see, that was my smoky slate. Yeah. I'm going to keep that with my smoky slate just in case I want to use it again. Okay, now we've got our Marina mist. And we're just going to work that into the sponge a little. And we're just going to make dots. And you can dot them several times, because we want different shades of that color. Some will be a little lighter, some will be a little darker, and that's good. And do them randomly. This is that's probably the hardest part of doing something like this, is to do it randomly. Okay, that looks pretty good there. And then we'll add this to our flowers. So right where our gray left off, we're going to start adding that in. And the flowers are kind of in layers. You've got the center, and then there's a layer of leaves, of petals, and then there's another layer of petals. So then I'm just going to pull this out and get my middle layer of, or center layer of flowers. Okay, so that's our card so far. It's getting to be pretty, huh? Right, so I'll put this dauber aside for the moment. I may end up adding more of the Marina mist to the bokeh dot background there. Okay, now we have our Dapper Denim. Work that into the sponge, and we'll do our outer layer of flower petals. And we actually want to go outside the lines a little bit, because I think that just makes it cooler. all those outside petals. Add a little color in there. Looked like it could use a little bit more. When it's blended out, this Dapper Denim and the Marina Mist are very similar in color, so I want to make sure that there is a darker color on the outside. Okay. And now we'll use our Dapper Denim. We'll add some more of these bokeh dots. And since this is the first time I'm using this colorway on here, I think I might go back to the Smoky Slate and add some Smoky Slate in there too. Okay. Yeah, I think it needs some Smoky Slate. So we'll just pull that in. Open this up. Find a clean spot on my mat. Work that in the sponge, and yeah, some of the Smoky Slate is good. Okay, now to really set this off, I'm going to use the Whisper White. Oh, I could use a little more color there too. Okay, where'd my Whisper White get to? There it is. And we've got our last clean little sponge dauber here. This one I am not going to work into on my mat. This is just going to go straight on the paper. And you want that to just overlap some of these darker dots. And this just adds a little bit more depth. Now, pigment inks do take a little time to dry because they're not like the dye inks that soak into the paper really fast. They just kind of sit on top. So if you were doing this at home, you might want to go have a coffee break after you do your Whisper White. But I'm not. Matter of fact, I think let's see if I have my heat gun plugged in. Yep. I'm going to hit it with some heat. Help speed up the drying process on this. I should close my ink pad up because I don't want that drying out. I don't know which one I like better. I like the autumny colors or these blue ones. I guess I like them both. Okay. So let me wipe my table off real quick so I don't get this on my card base. It's None of this will look good on my Night of Navy card base. But it's fun to make your own stamps. You can come up with all different things using the dies that come with some of these sets. And then you have something that nobody else has. Okay, and bring this in. Hope that's dry. Let's see. Nope, still wet. Well, we'll just be careful. We'll put some snail adhesive on the back here. And set that in place. And we'll have about 1/2 inch showing all around of the Night of Navy. Open that up, and I have that white ink on my... Okay. Let's snail the inside portion. And I'm just going to tuck a piece of scrap paper in here so that when I close the card it won't transfer that white onto my my Night of Navy inside there. Then we'll get our these 2 little banners. And let's see, what should we put on there? Happy Birthday is pretty generic. Oh, here's one. There's no special reason for this card. And then there's another one we can put inside. It says, except to let you know how special you are. That's nice. We'll use that one. Let me get that out. And it's hard to read these backwards. And they're tiny, tiny prints. So let's see. That's something about good friends. That's not it. Ah, here it is. There's no special reason for this card. This is the first time I'm using these stamps. Okay. And, well, I know it's got to be here somewhere. Happy birthday. Congratulations. Ah, here it is. Except to something, something, to how special you are. I need to grab my blocks. Peel this off. And I'm going to bring another little bit of scrap paper in here because this is the first time I'm using this. So whenever you use a stamp for the first time, it's always a good idea to give it a test run first. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. This is the one that goes on the front. There's no special reason for this card. Okay. And I'm going to use my Night of Navy. Ink it up. And stamp it. Oh, that's pretty good. I'm going to just rub the stamp a little bit. And then I'll ink it up again and stamp my little banner here. Let's see if I can line it up. There we go. That came out well. I'll just put a little snail on there. And you could pop these up if you wanted to. I like to keep the cards flat a lot of times. Oops. I tried to move it and it came right off totally. Okay, there we go. If they're flat, they'll go through the mail a little better. And I'm just going to put that down here in the corner. And then I'll take my other stamp. We'll do the same thing with that. It's the first time I'm using this one also. I'm going to stamp it up and give it a test run. Oh, nice. Came out with a nice impression. And I'll stamp that kind of towards the top and centered side to side. And I didn't get it real straight, but it will be fine. So there's our blue colors. There's our yellow colors, yellows and oranges. And I'll list what I used for both of these down below, so you can take your choice, or you can pick your own colors. Because you could do you could do it in pinks, or say pink and gray. That would be pretty. So you all take care. Oh, I forgot to do my thing that I do at the end. If you liked my video, make sure you hit that like button. If you'd like to subscribe and see more of my videos, then hit the subscribe button. If you want to shop with me, you can do that either through my Facebook page or my website. Oh, and by the way, on my Facebook page, I have a lot of things on there. I have like all the cards that I've posted on YouTube, links to those, and I also have I have PDFs there for the Occasions catalog, the Stampin' Up 2017 Occasions catalog, and the PDF for the Celebration catalog, where you can get free merchandise. If you spend $50 or more, you get to choose something from those catalogs. So I have both of those PDFs for them, and you can look at those catalogs. Oh, I have a picture of one of my assistants helping out. But anyway, it was fun making the card today, and y'all take care. Stay safe, and happy stamping.